put this up because in case somebody can't hear me, so they can see that I am recording this. It is going to go on the YouTube channel where there's a whole bunch of these living. They're not all course maps, but they're subjects. And then I like to put this up too. This is Pay If You Can Learning. So it's a donation-based gig, and there's a way to pay on my website. And the website is acedogsports.com. And there's more learning by me there on the website. And some people don't like to use PayPal, so they mail me checks. And there's a scale recommendation, and that's what all came out on the information you saw. If you want to mail me a check, you can get my address by emailing me. Or if you got an idea for a subject or you want to send a specific course map, you can email it to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So if you can hear other folks, sometimes I have you guys come on and we talk as a group, but most of the time I'd like you to be muted. And
How do I do that?
You've got, there'll be a little microphone maybe at the bottom of your screen if you're on a computer.
No, I'm on an iPad. I'm on an iPad. Hold on. Mute. Got it. Okay. I'm going to mute then.
Okay. Good job, Mary.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I was going to say, okay, bye.
Bye. And if you want to chat in the chat room, so I want to explain when I go off, when I start yakking about something, if we were talking about something before and you had a question about it, you can still put your question in. Please don't feel like, because I've changed the subject, that I can't go back and pick up your question, because I can. You can also get my attention by waving at me if we stay one. But I just want you to know that you can add into the chat, and I can tell who's
sorry, Sandy, where do I add into the chat?
So I'm not on an iPad.
Sorry.
So there's a chat. You'll have something that says chat, and if you can't.
Oh, got it. Okay, got it. Okay, I'm going back to mute.
Okay, good job.
Sorry. I've used Zoom before, but it's been a while, so
that's okay.
Every time it's like new to me. Okay, bye.
That's okay. So you guys are welcome to put things in the chat, and then if I happen to miss the things that I'm asking you to put in the chat, somebody can just yell at me. You've got questions in the chat. So without further ado here, I want to not do that. Hold on. And I had a little bit of technical difficulties a couple weeks ago for those of you that were here. So Becky and I have been practicing, and we are confident because we've been practicing for a full 30 minutes. So course maps, love them, don't leave them. I hope that you are here because you want to get more familiar with course maps. This course I will today go into handling and decision making, and there's no way I can talk about the course map without talking about handling and without talking about walkthroughs. So it's a whole lot more than course maps. Phase 1 with the course map and the course walkthrough is your geometry. You will not have, the walkthrough is 8 minutes. You will not have time to do the 3 phases, which are geometry, which is learning the course as a course. What I want you to know, and this is the more experience you have with agility, the harder this will be. It's not about you or the dog. I'm teaching my students to not take anything into consideration about themselves or their dogs or the sport. It is just simply geometry. The second phase is the decisions, because your decisions may cause you to decide to not go with the best geometry. The best geometry is what's best for your dogs, and it is likely at the higher level going to produce the win in the class. In your decisions, you will be deciding which side of your body it is an advantage to have your dog on, not what's easiest, what side the course dictates as an advantage. The skills, turn cues, verbal cues, physical cues needed to stay on the course, and the lane in which the dog will travel in, and the lane in which you want to travel in. So if you have your list of decisions that need to be made as you're looking at your course map, it'll take, I want everybody to have a system of decision making, a system of a tried and true system where you can just do the same thing every time. It isn't reinventing the wheel every time you're looking at a course. So the object of the game in agility, as far as I'm concerned, is that you can turn your dog left or right, wide or tight, from either side of your body. If you can do that, then you get to start saying it's an advantage to have the dog on my left and to go around the right wing and keep my dog on my left, or it's an advantage to go around to the left, have the dog on my left, go around to the right and do a side change. And then you can decide if you can do it or not, once you know what the advantage is. Phase 3 is a part of the walkthrough. It's the precision walkthrough. It's the dress rehearsal. And the reason I bring it up in course mapping is because the reason you have to love your course map and the planning on the course map is because I want you to spend 3 minutes or less on your decisions. That's 3 minutes or less, so that you have 5 full minutes for your dress rehearsal. Am I always able to accomplish that? No. But the good news is if I can't, I get stuck in decision like everybody else. I'm trying not to. But if I get stuck in decision and I run over time because I didn't make it on the course map and because I couldn't make it out there, I can let myself off the hook, because it is unlikely that I'm going to have the run of my dreams if I don't have 5 minutes for a full jump 1 to jump end dress rehearsal, precise as I can be with my imaginary dog in the walkthrough. So that's why I'm so motivated to do as much work as I possibly can on the course map. So we're gonna go to the course map now. And actually on this particular course, I have video of me running it. We don't do that every week. But since I finally got to show, and I apologize for my tools here. I'm trying to get better at it, but it's just a little wonky drawing with a mouse. So this is the Grand Prix designed by Leslie Bickel that was last weekend out at Napa Agility Field. The trial was put on by Rachel Sanders of Fast Forward. And I'm just getting a drink of water. I didn't you can't see anyway, huh? And it was one of the most deceiving courses that I've seen in a really long time. I actually steered a couple of students wrong. Those of you that teach, I don't know if you've ever told students to do stuff and then done something differently yourself, but you feel a little bit like a Benedict Arnold. But we had discussed both ways. And but what 2 dogs did, they were both little dogs, which is significant. I was not able to watch the whole class, but it's kind of fun to work off of a course where I have watched a bunch of dogs run, but not all. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to tell you the things, you guys, it's just my process. So I'm telling you, I can't go over how to run this course with every size dog, every speed dog, and every level of handler. So what I can tell you is what my goals are, what would scare me, and what I wouldn't trust the map for. So you can't, judges have to change things, course builders have to change things get built differently. And being able to recognize on a course map when one jump might be a little bit different that could change your handling plan is important, and you get better and better at it. The thing to do is to know that you don't want to marry what you come up with on the course map, or you want to, some things you'll be able to marry, but if you can't, those will be your decisions that you go to first when the course is open for walkthrough. So for example, I can, tunnel exits, entrances and exits are a really good example. So we'll just start with that. So I'm gonna do my level best to draw, and I am going to, I'm not gonna spend forever getting the line just perfect. So I am not gonna even stop to consider where I'm gonna put my dog on the start line, because
Andy,
yeah,
you know that the map's not up.
no, I didn't know that the map's not up. Okay. I am showing that the map is up. Okay, hold on. Okay, I know why the map's not up. All is well. Thank you. The video now?
Yes, it's a video.
Okay. No problem. I've got this. Nobody panic. Here it comes. You see a white screen now?
Yes,
Thanks, Becky. Okay.
now you've got the map up.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All righty. So here's jump one. This goes 1, 2, 3, 4 to the A-frame. So I would call that my opening sequence. And I'm not going to even think about where to set my dog yet, because when I set lines, I'm setting for as many obstacles as I possibly can. Somebody's got their, Suzanne, I think you're not muted. So I'm going to have everybody stop for just a second and make sure they're muted, because we can hear everything. So Suzanne, I think it's just you. Thank you, dear. So now I like to put my dog's tummy over bars the way that the course goes. On an A-frame, I know there's no choice of how I put my dog over the bar, what angle I put my dog over the bar. Uh-oh, here we go. The dog has got to come, sorry guys, from here. Oh boy, oh, that's messy. Hold on. He's going to come from here up the A-frame. And again, you guys, your dogs, this, if I can't get this, I'll go to a pen on the page. That's 4, this is 5, this is 6, and into this end of the tunnel. So it's, okay. You're going to have to hang in there with me for just a second. I'm going to give it another shot. Oh, I'm going to maybe draw. Becky and I practiced this a little bit, and we were on the fence about, I practiced a lot last week too, so I could get better. I might be able to find a better tool. There we go. And then it's to this end of the tunnel. So now I know where I'm going to set my dog on 1. And I also know that I'm definitely beyond the shadow of the doubt doing the A-frame on my right. At this point, that's all I know for sure. But it gives me incentive because every side change takes a little bit of effort. So if I can handle everything on the same side, that's going to sound more simplistic than it actually is. I will look for a way. That doesn't mean I'm going to sacrifice. I'm not going to sacrifice a turn in order to not have a side change. But if I can handle a line just as well without a side change as I can with a side change, then I'm not going to side change. So the fact that I know that I want to handle the A-frame for sure on my left, because it's the shortest route on this course, means that I'm going to see if I can handle 3 also on, I'm sorry, my right. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You guys, I'm handling the A-frame on my right. So that means I want to handle 3 on my right and 2 on my right and 1 on my right. And in this case, that is going to be really easy to do. And there's how my dog is actually going to take 3. So I'm still not thinking anything whatsoever about turn cues or handling. And when my students start going into handling before they've determined the geometry. So far, 1 through 7, we have no geometry issues. We are still in geometry. How the dog comes out of the tunnel is going to determine how we're going to handle that, but we're still just in geometry. The course goes to the weave poles, and then it goes to the tire, and then it goes to the dog walk. Oh, that's not right. No, it is right. I'm sorry, guys. This is my 3rd one today. I'm a little bit goofy. So now we're going to this jump. And now we have some geography. On number 11, we're going to 12. So we absolutely must look at going around this way on 11 or going around the other wing on 11 to get to 12. Can somebody tell me how what obstacle we always look at on every single course to go on number 11? Any course, anywhere, anytime, number 11. What do we look at?
13.
13.
Any course, anywhere, anytime, anywhere. We want to know which way to go on 4. What do we look at?
6.
We want to know which way to go on 6. What do we look at?
8.
Want to know which way to go on 12. What do we look at?
14.
You guys rock. You guys rock. It is very,
You taught us well.
thank you. It is very easy to get from 11 to 12 this way. And it is also, as far as geometry, don't on the handling, to go this way. You can get to 12, geometry, bricklayer way, 11 to 12, either wing. It's how the dog will take 12 towards 13. 13 is this tunnel. So if we go around 11 like this, our dog's tummy or his spine will be taking 12 the way my cursor is going back and forth. If we take the dog around 11 this way, the dog will be taking this jump like this. All you have to do, you don't have to do the math, is say, is it more of a turn if my dog approaches 12 like this to get to 13 than it is if my dog takes 12 like this? This is the left side of the jump, and this is the right side of the jump. Can somebody tell me the softer line to 13 from 11? Is it the left or the right? Dog goes around the right, and he's taking 12.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right.
That's correct. It's right. So now I know that I want to take my dog around this jump to here and into the tunnel. And that's a terrible line. I'm sorry, I can't draw better. I'm not going to try to fix it. So now the geometry is the course, the sequence, this next part of the course. Configurations make sequences, sequences make courses. That's for more for handling decisions. So now your course goes 14, 15, 16. Configuration, anybody? Out, in, out.
Sir,
Yep, serpentine. So all that, so that's identifying a configuration in the middle of a sequence can help me when I get to decisions, but Sandy said I can't think about decisions right now. I'm still in geometry. So I have to figure out which way to go on 14. What do I take into consider? It's okay, if I go this way, I can get to 15, and that is a little easier than this way, but it's still not the information I need to make the decision. What do I need to look at?
17.
16. 16.
16, because we're talking about 14. So if I go this way on 14, my dog will be taking 15. And you guys, I can't make this thing move. It just has to go in the direction. My dog will be taking 15 this way. Is he lined up for 16?
Not really.
He is. If he takes this jump this way versus that way. Sorry, guys. I'm going to draw on the paper. Okay. So now you can see my, and I'm going to, and I'll move my hand back. So if my dog goes around this stanchion, 14, 15, he's going to take this bar like this, and he's headed that way. If I take him this way, he's going to be taking this bar like this. So this is my better option. So now I know which way the geometry is best for 14. I have to guess again on 16. So, and I'm just taking them one at a time. Sometimes the back-to-backs screw you up a little bit, but you just work it backwards. So now if I take this jump this way, I'm taking it like that. And if I come around this way, he'll be going like that. Which is the straighter line to the teeter? A or B?
B.
B. A.
B.
A.
A. Oh, A.
Switch
Yeah,
now.
A. To the left. To the left.
One on the bottom.
This one. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You guys, it's easy to imagine with all that space, the dog doing that, but it'll be another lead change. So if you, I say this every week, if you don't, when I say lead changes, if you go, you will need to Google lead changes. It's okay if you understand it on horses, or find a friend in the sport that can teach you, because you must understand lead changes to plan coursework. And you guys, knowing the geometry and the smoother line for the dog is not about border collies and winning. It is about ease on dogs' bodies and minds. And if you have a little overweight, unmotivated dog, you have got to make it easy on them or they won't play. So finding the best geometry is important for all dogs. And then 18, if the dog goes straight off the teeter to 18, he'll miss 19. So there is a turn that is exactly that much. And we'll talk about that ending a little bit too. So now that you have your geometry figured, you know which way you want to go, but you don't know if you can be in the right place, and you don't know if you have the turn cues trained on the dog well enough to pull it off, right? So now, you guys, it gets personal. If you want to, I don't spring new things on my dogs in competition. So when I watch I'm never watching other people go, well, my dog did that. I think, I think if I do that, he'll do it like that other dog just did it that was perfectly trained to recognize that cue that handler just gave. So I can say that there can be a good reason to go, for lack of a better way to say it, the crappier line if you don't have the skill and you can't do it. But my students often throw in the towel. They don't take the conversation with themselves. They'll say, well, I can't be there and I can't do that. And if I do that, I'm afraid he'll do that. If I do that, I'm afraid he'll do that. You guys, when you're trying to handle, and this is back to sequences and configurations. If, like in my 1 jump, 2 jump program, there's configurations and I have specific handling for specific configurations. I have different handling. It isn't just one handling option per configuration, but I know what they are. So if I want to handle a 270 on the inside or the outside, or from the landing side or the takeoff side, I know when the last time was I did it. So that will help with my decision making, because if I want to take a chance on this course, that's my prerogative. If I don't want to take a chance on this course, that's also my prerogative. And those things do go into consideration. So as you're trying to say, I don't know if I can do this, I'm hoping that I can show you how, if you're in one spot, you can make your next point of execution. So a lot of people wanted to stand right here on number 2. And the dilemma for me was what I wanted to do here on this number 5 jump. I don't like to change sides on straight lines. And that's because I have a way to tell my dog we're going straight. And the way I do that is I run straight. So that's always going to be my first option. I do side changes and turn cues where and when I want turns. Does that mean I will never do a side change on a straight line? Nope. It just means that I don't call that my first choice handling. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to put the dog, because of the weave pole entry, because so much of my course is over here, I didn't want to be over here. I had incentive. There was incentive. It was to my advantage to handle as much of this as I could as over here, because my course is going to end up going this way. So now I know, and you guys, I'm jumping around on purpose. So when you're like, wait a minute, you were just talking about the lead out and now you're over here, I have to. I can't decide how close I'm going to be to 2 until I know when I have to be at 8. So, and I can do 6 and 7 with the dog on my left and 8 with the dog on my left. I'm not going to be on the outside of my course. This is a for sure no-brainer. So now I also know that my A-frame is going to be on my right. So now I know that I've got to get a side change done in here. I also know if I'm too far off of number 2, I might risk my dog not taking it. So, but the conversation for me doesn't stop there. If I do everything in my power, and that when I say that, I'm always talking about my hands, my feet, my mouth, and hands and arms are the same. My verbal cues, my physical cues, and my eyes, where I'm going to look, what I'm going to do with my hands and my arms, what I'm going to do with my feet, and what I'm going to say with my voice. If I do a bunch of stuff from over here, my dog will take 2 from over here, and then I can get up here to make this side change. Because my first choice is to not rear cross this flat 5, but I can still, it's still on the map. So you guys, the reason I'm figuring out my handling now with the course map is because remember, I want to only have 2 to 3 decisions when I hit that walkthrough. I want to make them in 3 minutes. So if I have 3, I got 1 minute apiece. So that's why I'm going this detailed on the course map. If I stand out over here, I know I can get 1. I can do ascend to 2, and my movement towards 3 will be perfect because if I get a tight turn on 3, my dog's going to go into the off-course tunnel. So some movement toward 3, because I got to run around this teeter to get over here, would be beautiful because my dog, the movement toward 3 will cue extension to my dog, and he will land with an A-frame in his path. And lucky me, that's the on-course obstacle. But I'm not gonna make it to here. I am not able to run 30 feet. Each block is 10 feet, guys. I am not able to run 30 feet in the time it takes my dog to do an A-frame plus 10. But if I don't have to run deep here, I may be able to do the side change here on the straight line. Only if all of this is timed just right. And only if when I'm running here, I keep my hand up and I repeat his scramble word, meaning I do everything I can because I don't want to run in here because I want to get this side change up here. But for my walkthrough, I'm still going to keep that rear cross in mind because where this number 5 jump actually gets put is significant. This course, the judge may put it a little bit up here or a little bit back here. If it's off at all, I am not going to spend a whole bunch of time. That's it right there. You guys are like, well, she's been 30 minutes on 5 obstacles. It seems like enough. So now one of my decisions that I am going to leave for the walkthrough is whether or not I'm going to rear cross 5, do the front cross in here, which I don't think I'm going to make, or a front cross on landing, which I've already said isn't first choice handling, but now all those options are open. So when I go to that spot in the walkthrough, I should be able to make that decision in 1 minute. Okay. Now, when my dog comes over 5, he will be taking 6 for sure in a way that will be cueing. I'm going back to the pen and it's upside down. He is going to be taking 6 in a direction because he's going to land. He's going to go like this. That's the nice line. And he's going to be headed directly for the off-course tunnel. So that means I have to cue a turn here. I'm filing that information because I want my dog to go as straight into this tunnel as possible. This is all a no-brainer. All I have to decide is which lane I'm going to travel in for 8, 9, 10, and 11. Here's where remember I said there was a very tricky part. I'm shelving 12 right now. This is jump 12. So the course goes 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And there had to be a decision made on which side of the A-frame to run on. Well, on the course map, it looked like it was a no-brainer to be on this side. Was that easy to do at a quick glance? Sure, unless you have to run to every single obstacle, then it wouldn't be easy. But, and again, you guys, I can't go over every dog, but if I cue a turn, if I cue an extension cue for the tire, I'll get the dog walk. Yay, that'll be easy to do. And then I can travel in this line. So I'm planning to be 15 feet off the dog walk. Can I get the next on-course obstacle? Yes, being lateral will actually help. If I'm close to the dog walk, that's the position that I would be in if I wanted the backside of that jump. So now I'm going win-win. I'm getting win-wins. What will work to cue the tire will work for the dog walk and this number 11 jump. And if I'm traveling in this lane, while my dog is I have to help a little bit. This is not a no-brainer. A lot of the judges this weekend, just FYI, Ashley and Leslie, were setting tons of lines to backsides. So people who had dogs that had equal value in the refusal line as the bar had problems unless they took full responsibility for that fact. So now, if I mind that Tux didn't go to the backside, which is over here, and I'm in this lane, and he's going to be more inclined to take the bar because I am so far over, getting to here in the amount of time that it would take him to do all this yardage is possible. And you guys don't panic. You'll get good at knowing that's a full 30 feet and my dog has to travel 12 feet unassisted. That does not mean ignored. That does not mean ignored. You will learn when we do 3 hats learning, when you come to my 3 hat stuff and I tell you the key secrets to handling secrets that are basic, not special turn cues. You'll learn how to keep one eye on your dog and still move your feet. It's brain juice distribution. So now I can handle this on this side and I've got real incentive to be on this side. So I'm thinking when I'm looking at the map, it's a no-brainer. But when we got out there, you guys, I didn't measure it, but this jump either seemed or was further away. And I knew when I did my side change here, I would not be at full tilt. Now, some people blinded and they were at full tilt. Hitting that tunnel at full tilt in order to make the dog shoot out was necessary. But it began to feel 10, 20, 30, 35, like a really long way, and that our dogs might come in and look for us. If we had a redirect, we're now going to have the redirect would not be easy to save. So this is a place where I had not noticed on the map. And you guys, I don't want those things to scare you from using the map. And that's why I'm telling you, I don't want people to go, see, that's why I don't want to waste my time on the map. There's too much good to throw out. That is not a good enough reason to not use the map. So I did end up changing my lane. I didn't run in this. I ran a little closer to the dog walk because when I cued this turn on 11, I wanted to be able to shoot Tux out a bit to get that tunnel, because if he turned tight, he'd come up the A-frame. So I just changed my lane a little bit here. And I looked at the course map after my walkthrough. I went so that I could get my proximities and ran on this side and did a rear. Can anybody tell me why that's not appealing to do the rear there? Here's 15. I'll get a drink of water. Can anybody tell me what the everyday normal average run-of-the-mill rear cross would be cueing the dog to do?
To turn the other way than you want the dog to turn in this case.
That'd be cute to turn them into the leaves.
The
Yeah,
weaves.
going into the poles, right?
The weaves. The
Yeah.
weave, says Julie, who saw the problem because she was there. Yeah. So you guys, your average run-of-the-mill everyday rear cross on, and if you don't want to say it like that, that's phraseology that I use for myself, is would I ever, if the course was 13, 14 weave poles, would I ever do a rear cross and have the dog hit the poles? And the answer was yes. That means I have to do a rear cross plus. I have to do, my average everyday run-of-the-mill rear cross will buy me the weave poles. I do have in feet first, my turn cue combinations, rears to pulls, rears to fronts, rears to threadles, turn cue combinations are part of my configuration handling work. So I went with that. Here's the thing that I never anticipated, just as a sideline. I had other students that did the side change here because they have smaller dogs and they can, we made the decision based on the speed of the dog and the speed of the handler. I have some very swift handlers with smaller dogs. And we knew they could get up there. And I figured there was an advantage because of the disadvantage of the rear cross that I just explained. But what happened was the handlers came up to the jump and they decelled about here, and they didn't tell, I use a verbal rap cue, but when the dogs decelled, when the handler decelled, I'm sorry, the dogs, for what I saw two slightly different things happen. One handler decelled a little bit early, and her dog had to put his attention on her. It's a 5-foot bar, little dog. The dog stopped and back jumped. The other dog, I'm pretty sure, read at the early decel as a rear cross and started to go this way, and she called it back, and the dog back jumped. So that was and that was the only error those dogs had. That was not an error I was expecting. So now I know that once I've got this jump executed, that there's a huge advantage to do all of the rest of these jumps on my right, and you could finish the whole course off with the right. The one thing about this jump is a turn cue did have to be planned in the information zone here and a lane, and I traveled straight about 3 steps, and then I went this way, and I gave a soft, my physical cue was a pull and my verbal cue was a here, because I did have concerns about getting that backside. Tux would not have been the first dog to run past that. Now I can figure out the opening. Just kidding, you guys. The real thing to do about the opening is to set the dog just right on one. And this was tricky because of the amount of space here. Because if you set your dog a little bit this way, he could think it was a refusal line. If you set the dog wrong a little bit this way, and you could set the dog in a way to make this a perfectly straight line. And I knew it from the course map, and I knew it when I got out there. And it was, honestly, this was the hardest decision I made. Because when I got down to Tux's level and looked, he had as much of a view of the refusal line as he did on the bar. And when I have that situation, I don't rely on a straight line. I put a very soft bend. All that means is I stood out here and did a slight hand change. It's quarter till, and I do have another short course to go over with you, a novice standard course, but I did think I would show you the Tux running this real quick.
Yeah.
It's fast, and I can do that right now. So there's that jump 1, and you can see how much space there is between jump 1 and 2. And that's why where I had him sitting, he had too much of a view of the refusal line. So I did do the hand change and the bit of the send, and he landed right in place for the A-frame. And I did that front cross on a straight line and had a little bit of a redirect into the correct end of the tunnel. And then this was all the no-brainers part, except for the lane. And I got in the exact lane I wanted to. No lane changing while he's on the dog walk, no lane changing for those next jumps. I like to handle as many obstacles as I can. And so you guys right there, I'll rewind that just a little tiny bit. I did my rear cross did not go entirely as planned. So I decelled and I was done with the pull, but the pulls were already talking to him. So the information zone for him was sooner than I could execute and get around the A-frame. So he was headed for the poles, and I did have to do what I call a recall on landing, which means I had to yell his name. And you guys that know me, like I like to have everything executed on approach. So whenever you hear me yell at my dog when they land, I always feel a little bit bad about it. And then press the edges. And you see me change that lane ever so slightly so that I'm not T-boning that line. Okay, let's get rid of this. And any questions on this course map before I do the other one, which I will be able to do in 6 or 7 minutes because it's novice and it's easy. We're not going to get to a topic tonight. Any questions? I don't have the chat open. Do I have any questions in the chat?
Sandy, you said that this is recorded. Can you actually go back and listen to this again?
Yep.
Or
once
okay.
I get it posted on the YouTube channel.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, great.
Yep.
Great. Okay. Then I'll have questions. Just kidding.
Am I making
Okay,
you
thanks.
Mary?
Okay. Yeah, and that was a beautiful run too that you guys had, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I planned so detailed for my courses, you guys, that I actually am totally okay when something doesn't go well. I no longer am upset when my runs don't go well because I have a lot of details to make them go the way I want them to. And I'm not going to get it right all the time. So this is a novice standard course that I did get off of the Facebook group. And I have not looked at it. A lot of times I won't let myself look so that we can do it together. So tire start, every time I see a tire start, I kick myself because I can't remember the last time I did a tire start. So if you didn't do tire starts that week, I want you to be very, very patient and not rush that tire. Starters dogs are anxious, starters handlers are anxious, adrenaline is running high, and if you turn and run, you could have an upset on the tire. Tire is not my favorite obstacle. So I like to set my dog, I like to know how far my dog needs to be set back to not have difficulty with a tire. So if you don't know that, it's probably something you should learn about your dog. This is a double and yeah, you're running A-frame, running or stop A-frame shouldn't be a problem here. I know for a fact that I'm going to want my dog on my right. I don't have any geometry decisions yet. 5, 6, 7, I smell a side change. 8, 9 is the dog walk. Everybody should be feeling better that's novice. Now there's, if I've got a running dog walk, that could be an issue. I still don't have any geometry. 10, 11, do not forget the broad jump if you're in novice. And if you did forget to train it and your dog walks over it, you don't get to be upset in the least. Tunnel to weave poles in 15 feet. Super fast wild child baby dog. You could be you could be in a strategic place to really help with that. You could also be in a place that would make it really hard. So that's got on my course map, that's got my gander up. 14, 15, 16, I have no geometry. So I've got a hall pass on geometry. And you guys, by geometry, what I would mean by that is so say after 15, 16 was this jump. And we had to decide whether to take 15 this way or this way. Got it? That's what I mean by geometry, when there's a choice. If we were coming back to the poles, would we come back going this way or would we come back going this way? So now it's a matter of lanes and turn cues and information zones. So I didn't go into information zones on the other course map because we were focused on geometry. But I want to let the folks that are new, so you guys, I pick, depending on the size and speed of the dog, information zones. And they're not always in the middle like that. Sometimes they're at the refusal line. If there's geometry involved, so say this is 16 and I was making a geometry decision, when my dog's nose is at the refusal line, that would be the information zone for the next obstacle. And the information zone is just the place where I am going to assign my feet, my hands, and my mouth a job. So when I give cues, actually means where the dog is. So when my dog is here, I'm going to do my level best to do all these things. If I get half of them right, I'll have a good run. If I get all of them right, I'll have a fabulous run that feels like I did everything I could and my dog had enough to go on. And frankly, you guys, a lot of times in a nice designed course like this, you can get a couple of things right and stay on course. That's the beauty of the sport. And the beauty of the sport is that you get to play it how you want. I'm a performance-orientated handler. I care about how I get the job done. I've had dogs that where I was scrappier. I don't mind being scrappy if I need to be, but I'm a trainer first, so I'm really into my dog knowing where he's going at all times. So I would decide how close I had to be to the A-frame to get my performance. You guys, there's no point in, somebody else runs over here and you're saying, well, I think my dog will do the A-frame if I'm over there. If you haven't trained it, just be closer and only be off of the A-frame if you absolutely have to because of a side change over here. The way that this lovely, lovely judge has put the teeter, especially if you have a stopped teeter, which I hope you do. I've got a thing about stopped teeters. It's a short obstacle, and if you've got to stop, you'll have a way to change sides. Can anybody tell me what this configuration is? 3, 4, 5?
Pinwheel. Right.
Pinwheel.
Pinwheel. Yep. So we've got a straight line to a pinwheel. This is what we would call straight enough, relatively straight enough line. You know how you determine if it's straight line or not? If it takes 4 handlers more than 10 minutes to determine if it's straight enough. You can call it straight. This is something that I would not rely on the course map. I would immediately, and you can do this while they're building, after the judge wheels. The judge wheels you can see if these little openings are true. Because if the tunnel is bent a little bit more or straighter, so if this hole was here or here, that's a difference. I'm going to have to do something different. If this hole was here, I wouldn't have to do something different. If this hole was here, I may have, if this hole was here and this hole was here, I may need to do something different. So the tunnel placement is something I'm going to check, you guys. So I'm going to have plan A, and I know, so 10, the lovely judge again gave us a nice table in order to make a side change. We know we want 12 and 13 on our left. One thing you want to do on, so let's talk about this. What time is it? We've only got 5 more minutes here. 8, 9, 10. So if you have a running dog walk, you're going to need to be on this side of the dog walk. So that means when you do your side change after your teeter, if you do it after the teeter, you may need to crank your body around and get 7 and 8 on your own and side change here. If you've got a stopped contact here, and again, this is a little different for everybody. This is not absolute. I'm talking about 3 or 4 different dogs. I am not giving advice for every Chihuahua, every Great Dane, every fastest border collie that ever lived, and every untrained dog and every perfectly trained dog. There's so much that goes into consideration as to how far you can be. The object of the game tonight, is for me to share with you all of the things that you want to take into consideration on your course map. So as I start to digress because I love, these are puzzles for me. So then I realize, oh, I've got somebody with a fast border collie that's saying, no way could I do that, or a dog where they have to go in a little deeper. So you guys, my information zone, for example, here, I would be saying, go on tunnel, go on tunnel. And my forward motion, I would be working that tunnel so hard on approach to this 7. And I wouldn't be slowing down until my dog was at least here. So that's what I'm talking about, what I do in the information zone. What I do off of this teeter would be making my dog be sure that he was going into the tunnel in case I had to make this side change. The other way I could surf, if I had a running, I could surf this by sending the dog from way back here into the tunnel if I had that skill, telling him to get on the dog walk from up here and being here, running this way before the dog landed. The other thing I could do is just a front cross at the end of the dog walk. So listing all these, yes, I am going to have a side change, and then determining that the side change you make is going to be determined by how far in you can go. Leave your dog on the table. What you don't want to do is let your dog go from here. You want to have a lane that you can travel because you want the dog to go straight. If he goes relatively straight, he's going to run into that tunnel. There's nothing out here to worry about. So you want some movement. If you lead out to here and you're stopped, your dog is likely to do that. And then you yell, tunnel, no tunnel. And then he's going to do that. So you got to get your dog to here, not just to here. And again, you've got to check your little tunnel holes to make sure that they're really and truly lined up for that. And then you guys, here's a classic. I'm gonna, and all of you know that you can stay. Here's a classic problem. And you know what? This is another thing you want to be real careful on, marrying a decision on the course map, because if this judge moved this jump over a little bit, you could stay close to your little novice dog in the poles and run this lane and be okay. But if the jump is where it's at and you go all the way to the last pole to help your dog stay in, and then you deliver the dog to the jump physically, you're going to get caught around this wing. And when you go this way, you want your dog to go this way. And then the dogs get upset when we say, oh, I know I cued you to go this way, and then we T-bone them and we push them back. And this is why some dogs don't run as fast as they could. So this is a little tricky. This is the type of thing that will really wake me up on a course map, because I'll say, oh, I can't go even one step further because I want to be able to have passage on my lane. And I also don't want to get caught behind this wing. So it's a real advantage to run in this lane, because then you're paralleling the actual path that you want the dog to take. These subtle little things with jumps catch so many people out at every level. So I'm sorry, that's kind of messy. I'm going to stop the screen share, cross my fingers, and hope that that was helpful, and see if you have any questions. Any questions?
I have a question. I have
Yep.
a question.
Okay.
One of these weeks, could you give us the maps ahead of time and so we have a chance to work on them and see how we do?
You know, that is under advisement.
Okay,
It adds quite a cumbersome layer to the getting the information out. And I sort of like it being cold turkey. I could give you a minute to look at it. And, but if you guys wanted it to be an open discussion, yeah, I'll think on it. It adds another
Okay.
layer for us with links and it also, I'm not 100% sure if my approach, the way I go about it cold turkey, is what I want. You guys having a bunch of time with it, I'm not sure that's what I want for the teaching purposes. I'll think on it. And I'll
okay,
get more input on it too, you guys.
So Sandy, I'd like it just to be able to mark on it during your discussion,
Got it.
not necessarily to try to figure out ahead of time, although that would be hard not to do, but just to have something to mark on, to write on, to take notes on.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get a little group and you guys could pick the maps you want me to do and then share them amongst yourselves. It does add a layer for me to pick it in advance and then make a link and then get it out to you. I could post it on Facebook or something, probably easier than I'm making it, right? Because I had these on my phone.
Oh, sure.
I could certainly send out on Facebook where the map is, and then you guys could, print, then you'd be up to printing it out for yourselves.
Right, right.
Yeah, if you guys
Sandy?
all be a big, yes. Yeah,
Sandy?
yeah.
I actually took a picture of the map with my phone and printed it. So I was following along with you with the printed copy.
Wow. You just took,
That's it. That's a good idea.
wow. You just took the picture as soon as I put it up and then ran to your printer while I was talking?
I did.
Great idea.
Yep, I did it last time too.
You did. So I could
I
have you,
did.
it wouldn't,
That's smart.
let me think, I'll make an effort to send something out on Facebook with where I got the course map because I had it on my phone. I could have posted it. Is it okay if it's the same day?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I like the
Mhm.
idea of just having it to to do your own markings on while you're discussing and stuff, not necessarily so that you can build the course and run it beforehand or anything like that, but just to, I'm a print girl,
Yeah.
Well, and I made all the notes.
paper in
that
hand.
You told us.
Sweet. 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 Where there's a will, there's a way, as they say. So normally what we do is I'm trying to spend about 20 minutes on each course and then leave 20 minutes for a subject. But I'm also going to be offering some one subject seminars. So some of my, favorite subjects we'll just offer in addition to these. I'm really enjoying looking at the course maps. So as long as you all are, we'll keep doing that. And like I said, I like running courses. One problem that I've gotten into, just quickly before I let you guys go, and anybody that needs to go, I will not take it personally if you hang up. Sometimes when I've studied course maps that people have given me that I haven't run the course, I'll have like 4 people going, oh, no, that wouldn't work. Oh, no, nope, everybody that did that screwed it up. And it's like, sometimes you guys, I do things on course that no one else did. And if you have this skill and that skill and that skill, and you do this and that, or you fudge here, or you steal some yardage there, there are things that are possible. So I don't mind, I didn't run that novice course, and it's always okay, because if people came to different conclusions, I could say, well, on the course map, to me, it looks like this for these reasons. And that's what I'm wanting to teach, what I'm getting out of the course map. But the problem with doing course maps, like I said, sometimes there are folks that have run it that can't see that something that I might do would actually work. But I can explain why. If, people say, well, I can't get there. Like they'll say, well, I can't get there on number 12. I'm just making that up. And I'm like, well, you could if you handled 1 through 11 from the spot of 12. I mean, that I'm exaggerating, of course, but lots of times there is a way to get somewhere. If you handled X, Y, and Z from a different spot or from a different side, then you actually would indeed be there. And I'll look in future weeks too, to try to tell you guys like what my goal, I know where I want to be when the board hits. I know where I want to be when the dog is on the apex of the A-frame. I know where I want to be when the dog's nose disappears into the tunnel. So there's those things too that help me make the decisions. Thank you so much for coming. Some of you have not been here before. My email address is Sandy@Ace Dog Sports. If you want to give me feedback or learn more about what we're doing here on Wednesday nights, the code is the same. The password is the same. We're here every Wednesday at 6. Everybody's welcome to pay, if you can, learning. Thanks for coming.
Thank you,
Thanks, Sandy.
Sandy. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandy.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Wonderful, Sandy. Really nice.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Thank you, Sandy.
Hey, Kathleen.
Sandy,
Sorry, that's
lis-
bad.
listening to the novice really helped fill in some of the blanks.
Oh, good. Good. Glad to hear it.
Hey, Sandy.
Hey, Kathleen, how are you?
Good. I can't get my camera to work, so
That's okay. That's okay.
yeah, that was interesting. You do things a little differently, and describe things a little differently. Stop.
I got my own language, that's for sure.
But it's it like learning any other language. It helps you understand your own better.
Agreed. And
So that was cool.
good. Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah, I just happened to see it on, I forget where, Facebook or, no, my email. I get your,
Oh, cool.
yeah, so.
Awesome.
So I thought, oh, I'm gonna tune in, see what happens.
I'm glad you came. Thank you.
Yeah, it was great.
You know I have a relative of your dog, right?
Yes, a half brother, I think.
Yeah, he's right here. I'm gonna show him to you.
Oh.
He's a licky Lou.
Yeah, Jewel is too.
Is she really? Is she
Yeah.
is she horrible with it?
No, but she does like to give face kisses.
I think he's obsessed.
You have a half brother to quiz or sister?
Yeah, I have a half sister.
Oh, does he look the same? Does she look the same?
He's a
No,
border collie.
yeah, she's a full border collie.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Yeah, and she's just got the classic border collie marking with the blaze and white muzzle, but she does have white on one of her ears. It's kind of cute.
And I was so excited that he was related to her because I just love her.
Oh, thank you.
She's just really.
So when will we see Quiz competing? Is he?
Oh, maybe this year for sure. This year for sure. I like I mean, he's a lot of dogs, so as they say. So I mean, he'll definitely come up. He's ready for jumpers now. I think, but he's wild boy. So I almost put him in for exhibition only this weekend. So maybe soon.
He's fun.
Yeah.
He's a
All
kid.
right, you guys. See you tomorrow, Christina.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you,
Bye-bye.
Kathleen.
Yeah, okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.